Yo, good morning, gang. Good morning. And as always, I hope everybody's feeling good, great, and wonderful. Today is Lotto Friday, October 21st, and welcome back to another morning prep video where I do a technical analysis over the Mini S&P 500. We're going to talk about some of the levels that I will be watching for today and some possibilities, some potential trade ideas that we may have, right? So if that sounds like something that is interesting for you, go ahead and stick around. Hopefully you find something educational in today's video. And if you are a returning viewer, once again, thank you. All support is appreciated. Love you guys and thank you. So with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into our morning analysis, all right? So here on the daily time frame, if you guys watched our previous video, we talked about how we're stuck in this range, this yellow box of death, I call it, right? And we're just stuck in here, whether we're fake breaking up or we're fake breaking down. Either way, we always find ourselves back in this box. So as far as a technical analysis, kind of, there's no technical pattern or anything I could really talk about in this range right here, besides like if you were a swing trader. Every time we came down here, you loaded up on calls, you bought some, you swung some calls from here expecting it to ride back up, and then every time we got to the top, you swung some calls expecting it to come back down, right? That would be like the only play I could think of, the only way to trade in this range if you were using the daily and whatnot. But of course, we're day traders, so we'll get into the more intraday levels and whatnot. But just to kind of show you guys the big picture here, we have been stuck in this same range for about a month now. All right, so just remember that and keep in mind that whilst we're in this box, anything can happen. I wouldn't even be surprised if we opened today and this flew up, right? Just saying. So yeah, that's what I got for you guys on the daily. Again, nothing much. Didn't want to sound like a tape recorder where I keep talking about this yellow box and what can happen while we're in there, when anything can happen, you know what I mean, at least from what we've seen, right? So yeah, let's go ahead and get off the daily here. Let's drop down to, I'm going to skip the 4 hour. Let's go see what we're looking like on the 1 hour, right? Boop, boop. Yeah, I mean, we just get a clear view here. I mean, obviously, we had a sort of uptrend try to form here. Low, high, higher, low, higher, high, right? High, higher, high, lower, or higher, low. Came up, we got this was Monday, so this was our weekend right here. And then once we got into Monday, we continued up, but then that was your fake breakout, right? This is your fake breakout, right back into the box, another fake breakout, and then right back into the box, staying in the box, and then one more little fake breakout here yesterday, right back into the box. So there you have it. We cannot get away from this box. Let's see what we can do today. Obviously this is now looking more bearish than bullish. The fake breakouts to the top are done, so in my opinion, we are headed towards the bottom of the box, right? I believe I said that in the last video. I'm not too sure, but I think so, right? That's my overall thesis for now. Every time we break out one side, we go and hit the other side until the buyers or the sellers, one of them, step in and say, you know what, the game's done, we're gonna run it, right? We're either gonna run it up or run it down. So that's what we'll be waiting for, but this is looking like we're headed to the bottom for sure. One thing I wanted to show you guys here was this right here. So this is the 3-day range that we had. I think we talked about this too in the last video, but it is now a 4-day range, right? Yesterday we did not break out of this range, and now in the pre-market we are, but this is still a valid range right here. 4 days of range. We want to see today if we're able to push up and get back into that range. I'm not saying I want that to happen, but that's what we're going to look for, right? If the bulls are going to take this day back, obviously the day hasn't started yet, but pre-market's not looking very good for them. But if the bulls are going to take over today, I'd want to see like a push up back into the 3660s and back above that, right? That's Monday's low. That is the bottom of this box. That's going to play as resistance. So if we can get back above that and hold above that, then we'll be back in this range, and then we could probably treat this as a look below, fail, and run it back up to the top, right? But that's just one possibility. It's just one thing I'm thinking about right there. If it holds as resistance and we keep struggling here, it can go sideways all day trying to kind of get back in there. It could drop a little bit or whatnot. It doesn't have to, but just keep in mind we have a 4-day range that has been broken to the downside. All right. Let's go ahead and switch our pre-market levels. Let's get that on there. Oh, let's get our pre-market levels on there. Let's drop this down to a 2-day 30-minute where it looks nice and pretty, and let's get right into our 3 questions. All right, so question number 1, where's price currently trading? And actually, before I get into the questions, looks like we have to adjust our overnight low. There you go. So question number 1, where's price currently trading in comparison to yesterday's range? Here's yesterday's high, there's yesterday's low, and we can see that we are opening on a true gap down, right? We've gapped below yesterday's range, so that right there gives us a gap down open, and we'll find out why that is important after our questions. Okay, question number 2 is, where are we currently trading in relation to the overnight range? So here's our overnight high, and there's our new overnight low that we just had to put in, and you can see that we're smack at the bottom of the overnight low. Okay, more bearish than bullish, and that will be important. Once again, we'll get into that after the 3 questions. Last question here is, I'm just going to draw this line right here. What you want to do is draw a line or just eyeball where we closed yesterday. I draw a line because it makes it easier. All right, so that is where we closed yesterday. And question number 3 is very simple. How much time was spent above where we closed, and how much time was spent below where we closed, right? I'm willing to give this one literally like 95.5. If you guys want to go ahead and give this wick right here and these 2 little guys right here benefit of that, I'll go ahead and give them 5%. You could say 100. You could say 100% net short, 95.5 net short, what have you. Definitely more bearish than bullish, right? Definitely more short than long. Okay. So why do we ask ourselves these 3 questions, and what do they mean? Well, we ask ourselves these questions to establish if we have the possibility for a at open play, for a play at the opening bell at 9:30, between 9:30 and 10, whatever. We ask ourselves these questions to determine if we should be patient when the bell rings and wait for a play to present itself, or if we have a possibility for a play. Now, question number 1 is the main determination of that. Question number 1, right? Yesterday's high, yesterday's low. The fact that we're opening on a gap down, right? What does that mean for anybody who went long or short right here? I'm not even going to draw the arrow. Seems like it's already messing up. It won't let me get it in there. But anybody who went long or short right around here when we closed yesterday, and let's just start with long, right? If you went long right here, when you wake up today, these people that wake up this morning, they're going to be on the losing side of the trade, right? They're going to be down, right? Those guys are either going to want to close their position. They might even want to average down, what have you. But what you want to know is that there's going to be a set of people, actually 2 sets of people, right? People who went long here and the people who went short here. They have something to do when the market opens today. Unfortunately, the people who went long, yeah, they're on the losing side of the trade, so they're going to either sell their calls and whatnot there, and that's going to push price down. Hold on, excuse me. Right, so these people are either going to have to sell their positions, add to their positions or whatnot, or, I mean, you can have the people who diamond hand it and just stomach the L right there, right? And then you've got people who went short right here. And the people who went short right here, they're probably going to take profit here, add to a winning position, what have you. But the fact that you've got these 2 groups of people that are going to take action when the bell rings, that is what gives us the price movement that we want right at 9:30. That's what gives us the ability to go ahead and snag a play at the opening bell, right? If this was opening within range where price is content, right, where everybody's okay, right, we close right here. If we were opening like around here, then anyone who went long or short right here, I mean, if you went short down here and we opened up here, yeah, you'll probably be a little down or whatnot, but you know what I'm saying, we're not up and over, we're not gapping up. You're not like, oh, I'm dead, this play's dead. You know what I'm saying? You might still have like hope, right, and whatnot up here. So really, we just want to we really want to pay attention to gap ups and gap downs, right? Whenever there's a gap up or a gap down, just know you've got 2 parties. One is happy, one is mad or sad, right? Just remember that, the psychology behind that, okay? These people gotta wake up, or well, hopefully they wake up, but once they do, they gotta get to their computer and they gotta do something, right? Okay, so question number 2 is, where are we at in relation to the overnight range? And as you can see, still kind of at the bottom of the overnight range. And the reason I said that was important, right? So let's just get into the people who went long and short right here. And they, when the market opens, they see this, right? So anybody who went short right here, what they really want to see is price break below the overnight low and continue going down, right? But as price goes down a little bit, let's say the people who went long here, they start to sell, they get out of their positions, that pushes price down a little bit. But then we see a reversal around here or something like that. Price starts to come back up, crosses our overnight low. This would be a good overnight fade, right? Where we're supposed to have sellers push price down and keep going down, but they weren't strong enough, right? So then we go ahead and flip the script and we go long right here. The reason I said it was important that we were opening right at the overnight low is because this is where we're going to want to put our stop, right? If something like this happens, we open, we break down below this, start to come back up, we cross through our opening print. This is where we opened. Then we know that, look below, fail. There's your entry at 3645 and your stop loss is 3642, the overnight low, nice and close, right? That's why we want to open right, when we're opening in a gap down, then we want to open near the overnight low for a better risk reward trade, right? If we were opening somewhere, let's say, let me just get rid of this line right here. If we were opening, let's say, right here. Oh, let's say we open up right here. Where's my price line? So let's say we open up right here. Right? Price starts to go down, price goes down, it crosses the overnight low, and then what are you going to wait for? For it to cross this print right here, get in, and now the overnight low is your stop? Well, you've got a stop loss of 14 points, and that just doesn't look as pretty as the stop loss earlier for about 2 or 3 points, right? So there you have it. That is why we want question number 2 to be, right around the overnight low, right? If we were opening in a gap up, then we would want the opposite. We would want to be closer to the overnight high, all right? Hopefully that was easy to understand. I will admit, I will be the first to admit, I'm probably not the best at explaining those 3 questions, all right? So, yeah, but we're going to get better every day, right? That's the plan over here. Question number 3 is how much time was spent above the closing and how much time was spent below, right? So here's that line again, how much time was spent above, how much time was spent below. And this is just for us to get a better idea of where the inventory was overnight, right? So we know that we're about 95% net short. So we know that, maybe some people initiated shorts around here, and around here. So we know that if all this is short, for the most part, as soon as we get an open that looks like this and starts to go back up, you've got people who are going to get stopped out around here. Maybe people who initiated a position around here, which they're going to realize really fast that they got in the worst possible spot. They're going to get out. That's going to be a driving force up. Then maybe guys right here that got shorts, they get out. That drives price up. Then you got guys that maybe went short here, that drives price up. And you guys get the gist, right? There's a snowball effect. So knowing that we're 95% net short, we know that some inventory needs to be corrected. Now, one thing I do want to point out is this short right here, that was corrected. These shorts right here, that was corrected. And then we have this rundown that got partially corrected. So, I mean, in terms of inventory correction, I would say maybe just like this much of the inventory needs to be corrected, right? But at that point, we've already either failed the overnight low, ran up, and now we're looking at plays up here, right? So that's the gist of the 3 questions. That is what we're looking like in terms of those 3 questions. Definitely more bearish than bullish. Question number 1 giving us a gap down. Question number 2, we're opening around the overnight low, obviously pulling away from it a little bit now, but definitely closer to that than we are like up here, so that's good, that's bearish. And then question number 3, 95% net short, that is also bearish. So what are we going to do for our open today? What are some of the things that we can do for our open today? Well, I kind of explained one of them already. You can wait for a look below the overnight low and come back up through the opening print where you can go long and use the overnight low as your stop loss. And the reason, the psychology behind it is what you want to think is when we broke the overnight low, I don't know if I mentioned to you guys, and I might have missed this, so let's go back. But if we break the overnight low here, we have a lack of structure, right? We have kind of a gap up, right? From here to there. This is the gap up, right? Friday we closed down here, we opened Monday up here. So here's a gap. There's no structure right here. This should be something that we can kind of just trade through pretty easily, right? So if the sellers are not strong enough to push the overnight low and then get continuation down and go ahead and close this gap, then we know that the sellers are not here. If we reverse through that, we can go ahead and assume sellers are weak, buyers are here, and we can go ahead and try a long right there. With which, remember what we mentioned when we were asking our 3 questions, our stop loss would be pretty nice, right? We'd only have like a 4 point stop loss versus like the 14-point stop loss, right? So just remember, always keep an eye on where your stop loss would be. Don't get too excited on how much money you can make, and remember to always keep an eye on how much money you can lose, right? So keep that in mind, and remember, no structure below this. So if we lose our overnight low, technically, I mean, and I don't want to say technically, but we should see something like, you know what I'm saying, stuff like this, right? Because we have this low structure right here. I mean, I kind of wanted to say we should see something like this, you know what I mean? But I don't want to, I want to be a little more realistic, right? The gap is what? Let's just think here. Overnight low, bottom of the gap. That's about 40 points. It's not too much. The way the volatility lately and the way the price has been moving and stuff, 40 points is not asking for too much. But I would definitely look to get out a little sooner than that or something like that if you haven't, right? Don't hold one position all the way to 40, expecting that it will hit that 40 before you turn your, you don't want to turn your winning trade into a losing trade or anything like that. Also, look at this right here on the yellow box, right? I think that if we do get a breakdown of our overnight low right here, even targeting the bottom of this range at 36.20s, that would be a pretty reasonable target, right? It isn't the full gap fill, but I mean it's a partial gap fill, and of course it is a range that we've been respecting for weeks now. So definitely at the bottom of this, around 36.20s or so. If you haven't sold some, if you only got one contract, definitely move your stop to break even. Definitely move it into the green or something like that, because this is an area where if price were to jump and bounce off of this and start running up, you should not be too surprised, all right? So keep in mind 36.20s, and if we crush 36.20s and start making our way lower than that, then definitely we could look for the full gap fill here, possibly like 3600, right? 3600 even would be a decent whole cycle number, where people, buyers are going to step in and get another, you may get another bounce around 3600, right? So just keep those numbers in mind, 3620s and then 3600s to the downside, right? Now, as far as any upside plays, like I mentioned, look and fail below, run up, there's your long with overnight low as stop loss. If you want to wait, right, if you don't want to go ahead and get long right there, possibly wait for the overnight high to get broke. But one thing I don't like about that one is that we would be smack in the middle of yesterday's value area. I mentioned in our previous video, I personally don't like to take trades while we're in the value area of the previous day. Price is content around here. There's a lot of sideways movement that can happen around here. Should not surprise you if we do start to trade sideways and whatnot. So knowing that, that's somewhere that I definitely do not want to initiate any trades. If you went long down here on the look below and fail and whatnot, and then we trade into here, just watch your trade closely and stuff like that, right? You might get some sideways movement here. Theta's going to start hitting you. I would definitely, if you get in like down here, I would be looking to trim some or have a stop loss at break even or something. This is 37 points, right? If you got in on this fade over here at the overnight high, that's 37 points. Remember, do not be too greedy. Do not expect this to run up and keep running up once we reach an area where price was trading sideways. And I mean, obviously this isn't sideways trading yesterday, but we know that this is the value area, so sideways trading can take place around here. All right, just wanted to let you guys see that on the upside of things. If we do crush the value area and we go all the way up here, then maybe a safer long. And I know that it sounds weird saying safer long if we've already ran, let me see, from here to here we've already ran up like 100 points. But oh, actually no, my fault. From here to there, that's about 75 points. But if we break value area high and we get some kind of like break above value area high, pull back down, use that as support, then start running back up, this will be a good spot to initiate your longs, and then just use the value area high as support, right? If you got your long right here, we come up, we start trading sideways like this, and then it comes back down, get out, right? The play is done. You don't have to be married to the play, just get out, right? But ideally, you get in, it comes up, and then you kind of get some chop or whatever, but eventually we make our way to yesterday's high of day. That would be your target right there. All right, so that's really what I got for you guys in terms of trade ideas and some trades I'll be watching for today. Me personally, I'm more on the bearish side. Remember, question number 1 is a gap down. Question number 2 is more bearish than bullish. As you can see right now, we're even closer to the overnight low than we were a couple minutes ago when we were up here. So definitely more on the bearish side this morning. I'm going to be watching internals. I'm going to be watching everything that I watch every day before I go ahead and decide if the bears are here today. But like I mentioned earlier, when you're watching these two boxes, if bears are here, the bottom of the box would be your target. And then also, if you look at this gray one, if the bulls are going to change, going to turn this around, might want to see us get above 3660. That's the number I'm going to be watching. Above 3660, and we might be able to flip the day bullish. But right now, it's looking bearish, all right? So that is what I got for you guys today. Hopefully that was something that you found educational. Hopefully I was able to help you guys with your morning prep, and was able to get you guys just a little more ready for the market this morning. All right, if anything needs improvement, if anything, what I'm saying, if you guys got any tips or any advice that you want to give me, throw it down in the comments. Come in my Discord, let me know. What I'm saying, I'm new at this, and we're all virtually just trying to make money, right? Essentially, we're all just trying to get to that bag and live a free life, right? So let's do it together, and let's go ahead and work together. But with all that being said, gang, I'll see you guys in Monday's video, and enjoy your weekends. Peace. Oh. Have a good, fat, green trading day. All right? Peace.